Well, Mark Sears is back to his form that he was in last season that made him the preseason all SEC and National Player of the Year favorite. He's been shooting the ball very well and creating for others. But on the other side, Jason Edwards, a dynamic guard who can do it all, crafty.
Richard, we got two of the top 10 scorers in the SEC going head-to-head, and a big one for both clubs in many different ways. Mark Sears with the first attack towards the rim. His left-hand layup was no-go. He, of course, is the leading scorer in that Alabama starting five. Meanwhile, on the other end, it's Edwards who goes for about 17 a game. He's got it right here. One in the black. A.J. Hoggard is their very reliable point guard, number 11. And so Edwards gets us started here with a savvy step back.
Jason Edwards getting off to a hot start already. You see his ability to finish there in the mid-range.
A little more efficient shooting the last few days. He had 18 in that Tennessee win. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's Jaron Stevenson. So nice to see him get an early basket in this one.
Stevenson, a talented player who's starting to assert himself. If he can give some offensive production, it'll be huge for Alabama moving forward.
Meanwhile, Edwards has it again back on this end of the floor. Hit a few triples. Kept the pivot foot. Threw that one up. Missed it short. Hit a couple of triples in that win Saturday, I should say, against Tennessee. Alabama scored 102 in the win yesterday, Saturday, I should say, against Kentucky. They've done that a number of times this year. Offensive foul on Grant Nelson, and it's Tyler Nickel who takes the charge. There is the 48-year-old from Salem, Virginia. Last year, he shattered the James Madison wins record, won 32 games, NCAA tournament win, gets the Vanderbilt drop, and he has totally overhauled this program. 15 wins, basically doubling up their win total from a season ago when things bottomed out. This is A.J. Hoggard keeping that pivot foot. Very strong rebounder on the back end there. Devin McLaughlin collects, and as the Commodores up 2.
And that's what McLaughlin does. He's very active on the offensive boards with his physicality and length.
He's only 6'7", but he's savvy down there in the paint. After the Stevenson miss, Vanderbilt looks to run. Now, we talked to Mark Byington about playing a team like Bama, the pace, the space, the offense. Got to keep up with it. Oh, block at the rim. That's Cliff Amori. And now numbers for the tie. Stevenson lost it, deflected out, and so it stays here with Alabama. So there is Nate Oates. He continues to raise the bar for this program. They went to their first ever Final Four a season ago. So the 50-year-old from Watertown, Wisconsin, he's embracing the Watertown, Wisconsin like weather. By the way, today, freezing temperatures in Tuscaloosa, though everybody has showed up. High off the glass, there's the rookie LeBaron Philon. Looked like that one was partially tipped. And so Vandy's on the move. Ball has been in Edwards' hands basically every time down to start. Edwards throws in the three.
He's a confident shooter as he was able to let that one go and put his hands in his pockets as soon as he let it fly. When he gets a mismatch on the perimeter, he'll look to take advantage.
It's a nice start for Edwards. He's hit his first couple of shots here. He's got 5. Grant Nelson, boy, how good was he in the Kentucky win? Went for 25. Looking for it here in the paint. Instead, he streaks out. Philon into the lane. That's out. McLaughlin to the board. Numbers here. Edwards with a little hesitation. Edwards couldn't lay it in. Here's Mark Sears. All-American. Lobs it up. And he lit the throwdown.
Great find there by Mark Sears. He's been asserting himself as more of a playmaker in recent games. 9 assists in a recent outing against Kentucky, and here he is sharing it again up top to Amori.
Yeah, Richard, in SEC play, about 7 assists a game. You see there at the bottom right, he's top 5 in assists. You're right. A little more of a decision maker, better decision maker this season. McLaughlin's 3 goes down and out. And Grant Nelson, one of the better rebounders in the league, secures his first.
It's a game, clearly, you're going to see a lot of pace moving in the end. Teams that like to move the ball from side to side in half-court sets and utilize high-octane guard play to create buckets.
And one of the more exciting brands of basketball. Philon's 3 hits the front of the rim. Mignon, who just checked in for Vanderbilt, got his hands on it. Oh, don't leave open. Vanderbilt's most reliable three-point shooter, that's Nickel. They get a new 20. Nickel rejected by Philon. The rookie sends gets it back.
A little taste of the freshman's ability to rise up top with the rejection.
So Philon, perhaps feeling it, has it here. Alabama down 3 early minutes, so what could be a very fun battle against Vandy. Count the basket and the foul. And Sears will be at the line, hoping to tie things up when we return.
There's Mark Sears turning the corner and getting all the way to the basket to find the alley-oop. Great decision-making and finishing above the shot blocker with the and one. The style of play, sharing the ball.
We heard it was Jason Edwards and Jalen Carey who had the double-double. Both of them very candid post-game about, hey, for this team to be great, we all sacrifice. We're all going to put the work in it, and at any time, anybody's number can be called upon to be great.
Well, that's a testament to what head coach Mark Byington has been able to do. He has a reputation of being a program builder. He's done it at Georgia Southern. He's done it at James Madison. And now here he is in year 1 at Vanderbilt with his team off to a hot start.
He and this roster, they've infused some life back into not just the program, but the community as well. After the Sears and one, we're all knotted up at 7. Edwards' layup is a bit wild. Mark Sears, cross-court feed to Aiden Holloway, who just checked in. Here's Youngblood for 3, and he missed that one long. So Chris Youngblood, Aiden Holloway into the game.
The up and down pace is a style that both of these teams are comfortable to play with. You see a great stop there by Chris Youngblood in the low post. This is a player for Alabama who's really starting to hit his stride, coming into the season as the AAC Player of the Year and a transfer from South Florida, but now playing high-level basketball as he's getting into top-notch form.
It's just his 10th game. You're right, he had the surgery in September, so just a couple of months before the season started. So he's getting his comfort underneath him. Sears, backdoor cut, left the floater short. Alabama gets another look, and it is Mo Diabate, their X-factor off the bench, puts the tie to head.
Instant impact. Mo Diabate does all of the dirty work for this Alabama team, and once again, he checks right in and makes his presence known.
Gets those blue collar points. Oh, nice drive. making Jalen Carey, pardon me. So he is picking up right where he left off with the double-double Saturday. Diabate barges right in, and he gets the foul.
That's a matchup right there. 2 physical players, Diabate and Carey, going at it. As you mentioned, Carey starting to play high-level basketball coming off his performance against Tennessee. But there's the foul against Mo Diabate coming downhill.
It's the first foul on Carey, the sophomore from Davie, Florida. He's on the Richard Hendricks workout plan, by the way. I mean, that's going to be a fun battle down there. Diabate, in his sophomore season, the Queens native, Nate Oates likes to say he's just got this natural toughness to him. 15 minutes in that win against Kentucky. He just did so many things right. He was out there in the final few minutes, good defense at times.
Well, you have to have a player on your roster who can come in and make plays in an ugly game. Diabate is that player for Alabama. When you play games that can teams play a slower pace, that can play a lot more physical, Nate Oates knows they can put him in the game and make a difference.
How about that? The offensive board leads to the triple. That's the first for Sears. First for Alabama. And so they've gone on a mini run here.
These are the runs that head coach Mark Byington knows that Alabama can get off to. When they get into spurts, this is the point of the game that Vanderbilt is going to have to make a response.
Carey trying to do that. He's spinning on the freshman, and he draws the foul. So Sherrell whistled for his first.
Offensive rebound on the free throw by Aiden Sherrell. Kick it out to the open shooter. Mark Sears lines it up from the outside. Knockdown tray.
Hit 4 triples in the win Saturday. And you can see through 5 SEC games, those are pretty impressive totals. You know, the 7 assists there leading the league. That is something that the staff has been very complimentary of.
Well, he's been able to show that he's not only a scorer, but his ability to play make for others. And that's going to be an important component for him moving forward. It's the guy who entered his name in the NBA draft, did not get the feedback that he wanted. In my personal opinion, a player who averages 21 points per game and 50% from 2 and 40 from 3 and gets to the Final Four, you would think that would be a bona fide NBA draft pick.
Yeah.
But to come back with those lofty expectations, it's a challenge that's hard for anyone. He's been able to do some things defensively, a little bit more effort to his game, and creating for others, which can only make him more attractive for the professional ranks.
And Richard, you just saw the bottom right there is now, we do the quick math, 3 points away from 2,500. He is the NCAA's active scoring leader. And so there are the critical free throws for Jalen Carey. Like you said, when Alabama goes on that run, can you basically snap it quickly?
Well, Carey was able to get to the free throw line with his physicality that he had on Aiden Sherrill in the low post. A good tactic to try to slow down the pace for Vanderbilt as both teams try to get out and run.
Well, Holloway has got the freshman there in the jail cell, and so nice move there from the sophomore Holloway.
Holloway taking his time, getting in that mid-range, putting a defender on his hip, and playing with slow pace.
Carey way off on the three that time. Not known for his three-point prowess. Sears drives into the paint. A hard drive. And it's a foul that time on the way in.
Mark Sears able to barrel down, but on the other end, it's Aiden Holloway with a soft touch. He snaked that pick and roll and was able to get the defender on his backside. The offense at the rim protection, defense at the rim protection was off, and a beautiful floater.
Well, he has been very productive in his sophomore season. He's taken a step forward offensively, as you saw. And so after the 7-2 Vandy run to begin this game, Alabama update that one now on a 14-4 run. They've got the 5-point edge. There's just so many different players that we've highlighted already that Alabama can use to beat you. Why they're the most prolific offense in the nation.
These are two teams that like to get out and go. And it's not just about running up and down and shooting shots as quickly as you can. There's a method until they play their transition offense. They run with space. They run to the corners to get wide open shots. That opens up driving lanes. And if you can get a piece of the paint, when you kick it out, you get a better shot from three. Space
and pace. Alabama shooting 46% from the floor. They've gone on this 15-4 run. MJ Collins off the bench. He does give this team a good scoring lift off the bench. Couldn't hit that one. Oh, Tyler Tanner, one of the better freshman defenders in America. One up that time by Holloway, who slapped that away from Edwards. Vandy keeps it.
And that's an impressive defensive play right there by Aiden Holloway. Vanderbilt's barreling down 3-on-1. Aiden Holloway getting back on defense and recognizing that he has to make a play. There he is up top with the rejection. Beautiful play by Aiden Holloway.
He said this is my ball too. After the sequence, takes that one away and nearly ricocheted in. Lead feed to Phylon is too long, and so the turnover gives it back to Vandy. So the Commodores with a couple of opportunities right at the rim, and it's Aiden Holloway who was in the mix each time. Now that was a, not a live ball turnover, as we say, but against this Vanderbilt team, they do a very good job at turning teams over, getting the steals. And that is very much an area of emphasis today, or focal point of this game. Backdoor cut, looks like Collins was held. And so Vanderbilt will inbound it underneath the hoop when we return. When we come back, also a little Tennessee-Mississippi State update. That's next.
On the one line. So you will have a schedule where game by game you have major opportunities to make big impressions on the NCAA selection committee.
By the way, we'll see how Nate fares today. I think that was, did he say he's debuting? This is a new blue Wimp Sanderson-esque jacket. We'll see what the record is after debut day. And that's an illegal screen. So ball back to Alabama. We saw Terry Oglesby was the one who said, looked like Carey leaned into his man. Great crew, by the way. Oglesby's officiated the last 3 national championship games. Vlad Tedal and A.J. Desai. The Nate Oates effect. There you go. Final 4 last year. before he arrived? 0. A couple of SEC regular season titles. The one before that, 2 decades prior. So there are things that are happening during this little mini era of Alabama basketball that haven't happened in a long time.
Well, these are the type of eras when if you're a fan and a young player, you'll remember these moments for a long period of time. As Nate Oates has been able to come in Tuscaloosa and, quite frankly, made Alabama one of the major powers in the league as far as winning championships.
You know, a rebrand, if you will, but even nationally well. Just like the national prestige of the program continues to grow and raise and raise and raise. Now, that's a foul on Alabama. He's getting an explanation, Nate is, from Vlad Tedal. So Hogard inbounds underneath the hoop. Vanderbilt needs a response here. They're down 6 after they took the 7-2 lead.
This is the mismatch that Edwards wants right here.
Spins on Amori, fades, left it short. Edwards hit 2 of his first 3 shots, but he's missed the last 3 now. Stevenson for 3.
Nice rhythm three-pointer by Jaron Stevenson. Shot that one with a lot of confidence. More than capable shooter from the outside.
It's an 18-4 run. Hogard blocked. That was Amori. And so that's a handful of Alabama blocks at the rim in this first half. Can they extend the run? Nelson draws the foul on Nickel. And that is the 15th foul on Vanderbilt, coming up on the halfway mark of this first.
And this is what Alabama does to you. They're able to get out and run and get the shots going from the outside. When they hit them from the outside, they're able to penetrate. And when they don't have things going, the strong drive game gets them to the free throw line. And when they're able to do that, it's just a matter of time that they're able to continue these runs that wear their opponents down.
Amori obviously in some discomfort here. It's the 5th-year senior from Nigeria. Has been a very impactful post force for Alabama. It is first season in Tuscaloosa, last year of college ball. He's clutching his chest. And so this is Clark Holter, very reliable athletic trainer. He's going to walk Amori back to the bench. So he was involved in that. Remember the block shot on the other end of the floor, and maybe some sort of contact from that moment was lingering. So he takes a seat. Nelson goes to work. Grant Nelson. It's a 20-4 Alabama run.
And that's a strong drive by Nelson. When he has the mismatch with his positional side playing the power forward, he's able to get some post-up work down low.
That's now 6 different Tide players to score halfway through the first half. A.J. Hogard. This is the very savvy 5th-year senior point guard for Vanderbilt, who is now on the board.
And that was a huge shot there for Vanderbilt to stop the bleeding.
A little bit of a lull in the building right now. Halfway mark of the first. Alabama's got a comfortable lead. Sears had that one deflected. And Mo Diabate gets his team a new 20. Phylon turns the corner. Bounces. It's a race for it. Nickel has it. Numbers. Lob it up. And the throwdown. MJ Collins with the flush.
Great job by Vanderbilt, taking advantage of the turnover for Alabama, turning defense into offense.
And that is their specialty. It's been a part of the identity of this team. One of the better steals per game teams in the nation. Oh, Diabate that time just burns his way down for 2.
And that play right there is what you call a Barkley. When you back your man all the way down from the three-point line in isolation to right under the goal, and Mo Diabate was able to do that and get a pinpointed layup.
That's a high percentage look, I would say. There's the defense turning into offense here.
Loose ball, running it down. Nickel throwing it up top. Collins doing the rest with the beautiful alley-oop.
Look at that, nearly 23 points per game off of turnovers, so that leads the nation. And that was very much a focal point the last couple of days for Nate Oates and his staff. On the scouting report, great pocket pass that time. McLaughlin finishes. It was Collins to McLaughlin, and a quick 6-0 burst now for Vandy. Back in it, 7-point game with 8:40 to go.
Both of these teams have spurt ability when it comes to their ability to score in quick bunches.
Nickel trying to handle Stevenson that time. Baseline drive, bounce pass to Stevenson. Deflected and nearly taken away by Vandy. Now it's the All-American. Sears steps through.
That's a big-time move right there. Mark Sears with the balance and the ability to stop on a dime, the dribble between the legs and get it up on the glass, phenomenal.
To foul on Nelson. Well, that is now officially 2,500 career points for the NCAA's active scoring leader. That is a lot of points. Hey, only 82 to do it.
Well, it was a highlight within itself to get that 2,500. Mark Sears finding a crease as usual and getting to that patented left hand off the glass.
Yeah, good call, just squeezing through that time. Now on the other side, here's A.J. Hogard. 68% free throw shooter. Trying to get this back to single digits. A great start for Sears. He's got the 10 points. 3 of 6 from the floor. Hit the lone triple that he's taken. Alabama in transition and the flush.
A great recognition. A couple of seconds off the shot off of the made free throw shows you the ability that Alabama has to get it out and go.
Sears trying to take it away from Grant Huffman. Maybe a psychological blow there. It's a foul. Vandy has it. Sears 2,500 and counting for his career.
A lot of buckets for this guy. The Muscle Shoals native getting it done.
Mom and Dad, Chad and Lamika. They are always in attendance. So, okay, he's from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, not far from where you grew up. Northern Alabama. Spends a year at Hargrave Military Academy. Starts at Ohio. Extremely prolific scorer there after 2 seasons. He says, wait a second, I've got some upside here. Hits the transfer portal. Winds up at Alabama. This is 3rd season. Guided this program to its first ever Final Four a season ago. The ascension is really inspiring.
Well, he's a player that has an outstanding resume at the University of Alabama, not only the scoring numbers, but being a part of the team that won the double in the SEC regular season and tournament title that he had in his first season, going to the Final Four in last season. Now he is for his last outing for Alabama and playing high-level basketball once again. So he's so impactful in so many ways, and he's made his presence known.
Yeah, the legacy is going to be quite impressive when it's all said and done here. He is ready to check back in. Vanderbilt down 9 after the very impressive statement win on Saturday against a top 10 Tennessee team. You know, in a lot of ways, he is going to be perhaps the face, Richard, of the best mini era of Alabama basketball since, you know, you were playing 20 years ago. You know, there was great winning 5-year span then. Well, we have seen that in a big way. Nice one at the rim there for Holloway.
Well, there's always going to be a player that when you're a young fan watching your team, that's going to be etched in your memory forever. And when you're a high school kid who's observing Mark Sears and what he's been able to do, these are the moments in this Nate Oates era that you're going to remember for the rest of your lifetime. And he's been able to put on a show with a lot of magical moments.
Stevenson on the drive. That's an offensive foul. Well, I want to ask you this. Athens, Alabama's finest. Who was that guy for you?
Oh, wow.
Well, you were growing up watching this program during some really good years. Yeah, there you go.
I think you'd have
2002 team.
Look no other than behind Nate Oates on the staff with Erwin Dudley and the 2002 SEC Player of the Year. You know, with his ability that he was able to have with the runs that they had at the university in 2002, Rod Grizzard, Terrence Mead, to name a few. Those are players who were able to win big games in Alabama history under head coach Mark Gottfried that made this experience magical for me. So you have those same moments here with Mark Sears and the crew here in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama coming back the other way, Richard. Looking for another transition hoop. Tyler Tanner, the rookie. They whistle him for a foul that time. It's a good job of marking up Sears that time, but it is the first on Tanner, and Sears is going to the line. And you might have said it, Antoine Petway. I think I've heard you talk about that. That's a big shot.
The shot in 2002.
Back in the day.
Yes, to win the SEC title. As we get a peek at Tyler Tanner, a phenomenal defender. It's a foul drawn there. Mark Sears.
He might be the best freshman defender. I think it's safe to say in the SEC. You could certainly make a case nationally. He's got one of the higher steals totals in the nation, regardless of age.
Well, this kid has really good defensive instincts, and he's taking on the challenge now, taking on a big-time scorer as Holloway is able to turn the corner and get to the paint. This is the moment where Vanderbilt's going to have to make a surge. They run really good offense, and there's the mismatch right there with Edwards going downhill. When he has a big on him, he has the ability to get big men on their heels, and then he can use his beautiful pivots and footwork to get an angle to get it up on the grass. The length and the size differential is no problem for Edwards on the perimeter.
Prolific scorer. He's very clever. Goes for 17 a game. That leads Vandy. Youngblood deciding what to do. Goes up. Had it knocked away by Huffman. And Vanderbilt, with all those deflections, those knockaways, leads to a run out. Tanner, the floater. That's a bit strong. And Youngblood has it. So 5 to play in the first. 11-point cushion. Sears, drive and kick. Extra pass. Look who's open. Youngblood watches it go down and out. It was a good look.
Good creation there by Sears to get all the way to the basket.
Tanner, aggressive. Carey was right there. Could not shove it back in. Edwards to the logo. That's strong. Edwards again. Yes, so that time on the second chance he gets it. And so again, a little mini run for Vanderbilt gets it back to single digits. 4:32 to go, and it prompts the Alabama timeout.
It's the surge that Vanderbilt's been able to do. Lull you into situations, use their physicality, draw fouls at a high clip, and get to the free throw line. When they're able to do that, that softens up the defense and allows them to get out on fast breaks and score win bunches.
Yeah, the 20 made free throws a game. It's top 5 in the nation. Really high free throw rate. And Holloway, a reliable one. So coming up next, the now 22nd ranked Missouri Tigers. They have crashed the AP Top 25 party. Basically, everybody in the SEC has had an invitation to this party. They're in Austin. That's coming up next.
Well, Dennis Gates has his team playing big-time basketball. That 0-18 season they had last year is no more. Had a signature win on the road in Gainesville.
That was last week. So first top 5 road win. You see who they're going to face, by the way. The highest scoring rookie in the league, Trey Johnson. So that win last week, you're right, it was their first top 5 road win in 13 years. It had been a while. McLaughlin with the ball fake, could not get it to go. So Vandy has missed a couple of important ones at the rim. Again, it's the length of Alabama. It has been effective. There's Diabate, count it, and the foul. And Mohamed Diabate saying, you can't guard me here.
And that's a phenomenal move in recognition by Mohamed Diabate. Coming down in transition, realizes he had Jason Edwards, a smaller guard on him, turns and takes him to the post. Beautiful job there by Mo Diabate, taking advantage of the mismatch.
Richard, that's the second foul on Edwards. Vandy's leading scorer. You know, we heard Mark Byington and the staff preach it today. You just have to get back regardless of what happens on the offensive end. I think this is an obvious foul on Cliff Amore. They whistle a tie-up. So that is a tie-up. Jump ball still favors Vanderbilt, but they lose the arrow now.
activity of Alabama on that last possession, and head coach Mark Byington doesn't seem to agree with that call, as it was a lot of contact on that rebound. Looking for an explanation from the officials.
Yeah, palms up right now. So they lose the arrow. Yep, he clearly thinks that there was a lot of contact there. At first glance, I thought they were going to whistle Amori for his second. Nevertheless, they still keep it here. Carry back on the floor. Edwards, left-hand dribble, trying to go to work here on the freshman, Sherrill. Goes crossover into the paint, jump stop, finds Nickel with 7 to shoot. Tyler Nickel is still scoreless in his first half with Vandy down 13. Alabama, fine shooting half. They're 56% from the floor. Holloway from distance, knocks it down.
Great unselfish play there by Aiden Sherrill with the scoop pass over to Holloway. And coming off that catch, full speed, rising up. Sweet touch from the outside.
Holloway's been very reliable from distance since a late non-conference play. Tyler Tanner gets free. This is Nickel. Tyler Nickel playing off of 2 feet. Nicely done that time by the junior.
Strong drive by Nickel.
There's another. Holloway once more.
And Aiden Holloway is starting to feel it. He comes in right off the bench, and he knows his job is to go straight to the basket and get some point production. It's a double dribble by Jalen Carey.
13 for Holloway. That's a game high right now.
Aiden Holloway with that dish-off pass from Sherrill knocks it down from the outside. And not only from the outside, taking it all the way to the basket with the beautiful finish. And the list goes on and on. Ole Miss and Chris Beard, what he's doing in year 2 in Oxford as his team at the top of the standings. I mean, it's on and on and on in the SEC. High-level coaches.
Yeah, it's just another example as to how strong this conference is. Not just these coaching staffs that you're referencing here, bringing in the talent, but developing the talent. I think you're right on. It's usually the team that finishes tops in the league, and that coach is always in the running. And then who are the others exceeding expectations? You want to know who is exceeding expectations? I would say the last month, Aiden Holloway. He has been on a heater. He's got 16, and he's perfect from the field today.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's exceeding expectations, because the confidence it sees in his eye is what he expects to do. Expect a heat check if they don't pick him up early.
Yeah, you're right. Philon was looking for him. Right back to the rookie. Baron Philon had it knocked away, so it should stay here. The sophomore from Charlotte is perfect tonight.
I mean, it's a beautiful form. Look at him on balance, lines it up, the ball rotating. That's a pure shot right there. He's hitting his stride here, his second season in the SEC, transferring over from Auburn. Seemed to found a lot of comfort playing in Nate Oates' system, and he answers the bell every night.
Tireless worker, and he is always out here before, after shoot-arounds, getting his shots up. Magnon, the straight line drive to the basket. He draws the foul. Chris Magnon at the line in a moment. So look at the production jump, that you referenced here. So, well, first of all, let's just take a look at the SEC play. He's averaging 12 a game, 53% from distance. So he is dialed in.
Well, he's shooting the cover off the ball, and you shoot a guard who's shooting 61% from 2 and 53 from 3. At this point, it's like throwing a golf ball in the ocean. He can't miss. He's shooting very well, and he's taking good shots within the flow of the offense. Oftentimes you have shooters who catch fire, and they want to break their own streak by trying things. But he lets the game come to him, plays within the offense and the structure of what they're trying to do, and he shoots the shots that he practices. And that's how you have a high, efficient percentage when it comes to knocking down shots.
Look, golf ball in the ocean. Have you been watching my game? I feel personally attacked, by the way. I do that, but I'm not trying to. Alabama, by the way, they made this look easy. It's not. 17-point advantage. They took a double-digit lead fairly quickly after they went on the 20-4 run. Holloway, drive and kick. Phylon wants it. That three is offline. Sherrill gets his team a new 20. Knocked out by Vandy. And so they'll have 20 on the timer. 1:17 to go in the first.
And that's got to be a frustrating possession for Vanderbilt, because that was great defense. They were communicating well, sliding, had Alabama out of sorts, and then you have to finish off the possessions with rebounds, not allowing Alabama to get multiple possessions by getting on the O boards.
Well, that's what Nate Oates bemoaned earlier today and leading up to this game. He wants that offensive rebounding rate to go up. Diabate draws the foul. You know, frustration there from Magnon, who's got to grapple with him underneath. Does a really clever job at getting another whistle. He's going back to the free throw line.
Well, it got physical there. Two really good players, strong body players. Magnon, a good defensive player within his own right. But that last bump and step through by Diabate was able to get himself freed up. And that little bump was all he needed to draw the foul.
So this is his third trip to the stripe. And already 7 and 6 for Mohamed Diabate. You know, we were talking to Ryan Pannone earlier today. He calls him an X factor. This staff really view him as an X factor in the 15 or so minutes he gives this club per night. So the Women's Hoops takes over the SEC network every Thursday. This week, it's Georgia Amore leading number 11 Kentucky into College Station. That one is at 7. And then a top 20 battle, Tennessee and Texas, follows at 9 Eastern.
Kenny Brooks has come into Kentucky from Virginia Tech and done a phenomenal job. Georgia Amore, an outstanding guard, but it's the three bigs that they have: Clara Strack, Amelia Hassett, and Keani Key. Watch what they're able to do with their play for Kentucky women's basketball.
Yeah, that is a fun doubleheader coming up on Thursday. Final Four for Virginia Tech a couple of years ago. Kenny Brooks infusing some life into the program, just like, by the way, Mark Pope as well on the men's side. Another one, it's Phylon with the latest basket. It's a 48-point first half for Alabama.
Great pace that Phylon did. He took that the entire end with pressure defense on him. Took his time to find a little bit of an area which he can pull up for that soft floater. Phenomenal recognition by the freshman.
7 different Alabama players have scored in this first half, and the Tide are riding the wave from the Saturday win. Their first win against a top 10 Kentucky team inside Rupp in more than 20 years. Mark Sears was great. He had 24.
Well, this was a response win for Alabama coming off of that home loss against Ole Miss. They came in and got out of the gate against Kentucky, playing good basketball from end to end, and was able to close it out in Lexington. A signature win against a really good Kentucky team, and as you mentioned, another high-quality coach in Mark Pope. But that day was for the Tide.
100+ once again. They've done that a couple of times now in SEC play, the other against Oklahoma. And so with that win, that is now 6 victories against top 25 ranked teams. Richard, that is the most for any team in America to this point.
I think the response for this Alabama team compared to last year that went to the Final Four, they struggled last season playing against marquee matchups in the regular season. This year, they continue to schedule tough, and they've been able to win these games and win them in tough environments, playing on the road, playing in neutral sites. That type of stuff will only set you up for big-time games in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that is the way they do it in Tuscaloosa. 6 seconds here to play here in the half. It's a nice move from A.J. Hogard. 1 second. Stevenson, the rainbow there, could not get it to go. 17-point lead for Alabama. And in this first, Holloway and Sears combined for 26.
Well, these guards have been off to a tear all night long, shooting from the outside with so much efficiency. Bama up big.
Yeah, statement in the first half. Let's go to Charlotte now. Dari. from the field, 6 of 6, and knocked down those 2 triples.
Well, this guy's been on a tear, and when he checks into the game, he understands it's my time to go to work, and he's been doing that in the first half. We'll look to see what he can keep his hot touch in the second.
You know, this offense or this staff, the Alabama way, they prioritize and emphasize, you know, if you've got looks, you don't turn them down. Holloway has not. He has gotten open. His teammates have found him. 58% shooting for the Tide in this first half, and so percentage, well, I was going to say it was going to go up there. Nelson misses the reverse. Amori nearly threw down the follow slam, but instead he gets fouled, and Alabama heads to the free throw line.
You know, and that was really good scripted action by Alabama. They go out with the side pick and roll with Philon and Amori off the rip. They don't get what they like, looking for the alley-oop, and they continue to stay with the set and run it again, this time with Grant Nelson getting freed up and Amori on the offensive rebounds. It's that type of execution and patience that you have to have in the half-court set to be very, very good team when teams shore up the defense.
Yeah, I would underscore that term, execution. They've done it, Alabama, on both ends of the floor, dialed in. So they fall behind 7-2 a couple minutes into the game. Immediately then go on a 20-4 run, and so they have been in command and in control since that point. They basically had a double-digit lead for the majority of the game thus far. Jason Edwards, he's Vanderbilt's leading scorer, who was hot early in that first half at the free throw line to try to answer the freebies.
Well, there's good execution by Vanderbilt in their first set, and that's important to see. You know, when you're a head coach, you want to see how your team responds when they come after the break. If they are able to execute what you've drawn up against a defense that is set to stop you with the adjustments being made. You see what Edwards is able to do. He's so savvy and comfortable, even at his size, when he gets under the goal with shot blockers around. His ability to pivot and find a way to the basket.
Redshirt junior from Atlanta was such a prolific scorer last season. Nearly led the AAC in scoring when he was at North Texas. Hits the portal, has been a brilliant acquisition for Mark Byington and this program. He has led Vanderbilt in scoring. Can he get hot? And can Vandy get some stops on this end? That's what's more important. Stevenson right over Nickel. That's good.
Really good move by Jaron Stevenson. Comes to the jump stop and takes his time.
That one looked, I think it was partially blocked by Amori. This one is knocked away. Sears has it. Sears, a blur into the front court, collects, draws the foul. Hogard frustrated. And a whistle. Was that a technical foul assist?
I believe it was. Possibly on A.J. Hogard.
Hogard, tough fifth-year senior. You see the shiner under the right eye there. This is a tough veteran. However, so what did he do? Did he slam the ball down? I was blocked out, couldn't quite see it. So Sears, one of the better free throw shooters in the league, is at the line. However, he misfires. So what happens here?
After Sears throws the shoulder into him, he takes it. The foul's being called. Looking at the official. I don't have it on a few, but might have been the magic word said. The technical foul addressed.
You know, Richard, we've seen probably 2 to 3, maybe 4 instances of an Alabama player, crafty, clever move to the rim, you know, basically forcing Vanderbilt to commit the foul. We've seen the frustration.
But I tell you, on that last one, A.J. Hogard had a really good point. I don't know if I felt like that was a foul. And see, this is what you see is Mark Sears is not making the free throws. This is a ball don't lie. Yeah, this is a ball don't lie moment. And the crowd starts to get behind. The guys made the ball go through the hoop for the count over 2,500 points. But I thought that A.J. Hogard got back and was in position. He took it in the chest as Sears dipped his shoulder, and the foul was called on Hogard, and he picks up a technical foul. But as we say in the playground, the ball don't lie.
Yeah, reputation perhaps factoring in there. McLaughlin's 3 is offline. New 20. Mignon has it. Mignon kicks it. Nickel, can he get going? A three-point specialist buries the 3, his first of the night.
That's huge for Tyler Nickel. You want to see a clean look. Alabama has been sticky, chasing him off screens all night long. He hasn't had the clean look, but as a shooter, you just want to see one drop.
Well, more on that in a moment. It's a 16-point game. And Nelson draws the foul, so there is another one. Again, Alabama does a really good job at drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line. That's the third on Magnon, so something to be aware of. The fifth-year senior from New Milford, New Jersey, just picked up his third.
What's a recognition of attacking on closeouts?
How about Sears here? That one looked like it was on target, but offline just a bit. Here's Hogarth looking to attack. Nickel, same spot, right wing three is good.
A good shooter, only has to see one drop. Alabama made a mistake early, allowed Tyler Nickel to see one go through, and he's catching fire.
Phylon immediately in attack mode on the other end. Phylon took the brunt of the contact there, and a loose ball foul on Vanderbilt. Nice response here from Vandy.
Well, it's all because of this penetration and finding your shooter, Tyler Nickel, with the sweet stroke. Nothing but the bottoms. A little run for Vanderbilt, 6-0 run due to those 2 threes.
Yeah, really reliable perimeter threat. You know, he started off a little shaky to start the year, but his last 9 games, so the second half of the schedule for Vandy, 41% from distance. He's been very consistent. And so it has tightened up a little bit relative to what we saw in the first. Alabama led by as many as 19. How have the Tide defended Vandy on this side?
Well, they've done a really good job of communicating and switching off ball. The way that they navigate the screens has been really effective all night long. It's a good possession for Alabama defensively.
That pass deflected out of bounds. It stays here, and so the Commodores only have 6 to shoot.
It's the off-ball action that Vanderbilt runs to get their shooters freed up that is very difficult to guard. Alabama's been doing a good job in the last possession of slowing that down.
Magnon sets the feet, puts it up. That three is strong, and the rebound down to Sears. Phylon in transition, wild layup, and an opportunity here for Vanderbilt. They're trying to push here in transition. Nickel wants it. Got another 3 consecutive threes for Tyler Nickel. And so just like the start of the second half against Tennessee a couple of days ago, these threes have fallen for the Doors. Yeah, very quiet Coleman Coliseum now. If you're Vanderbilt, this is the time to keep striking. Cheers to the rim. Denied by Magnon. Had a vicious one late in that Tennessee game. Hogarth wants 3, puts it up. That's way off, and Nelson has it on the baseline.
As I mentioned, the spurt ability of both of these teams.
Oh, is that an offensive foul? Nickel is locked in right now.
Tyler Nickel is taking over the game on both ends of the court, getting it sparked with the 3-point shooting. The prolific shooter taking the charge, but it's on the offensive end, getting freed up, getting lost in the corner. 3 threes, and then on the defensive end, recognizing a big coming downhill, takes it in the chest, offensive foul, ball back to the Doors.
Yeah, I'm certainly okay with that. I mean, that looks like offensive initiated contact there by Stevenson, especially the dip of the shoulder. That's the third on Jaron Stevenson. And can Vanderbilt slice it back to single digits now?
There's a big opportunity.
And much better shooting to start this second half. They've hit 3 threes. They only had the 1 in the opening half. Magnon, crossover. Magnon, the blow by, but he missed the layup. So he beat Amori to the rim. Could not finish. There's Diabate in transition. Mo Diabate strong to the basket again.
Big time move by Mo Diabate, able to get downhill and get shifty, drawing the foul. Bama back to the free throw line. All about how your schedule is set up and how you match up against each team that you're playing. You have some teams that play at a faster pace, Alabama and Vanderbilt, as you see. Florida can do the same, but the teams that play a slower style, Auburn, Georgia, Ole Miss, that can make the game physical. Depending on where you run into them in the season, can make your run much more difficult.
The schedules are harrowing, by the way, when you look at, what, 5 to 10 game stretches at certain points, SEC play for both of these teams. It was last week when Ole Miss walked into this building, those aforementioned Rebels, and held Alabama to 64.
Well, it's all about matchups, and it's important that you see teams because that's the challenge you have in March.
Okay, McLaughlin's 3 gets it back to a 10-point game.
This is a game that still has a lot of time, and Vanderbilt has been able to figure some things out. They're moving the ball very well, and when they get a peek, they're shooting with a lot of confidence.
They've hit 4 triples. Holloway shooting it with a whole lot of courage today. Sherrill had it knocked out, and McLaughlin devours that rebound. Nickel has hit 3 triples right out of the chute to begin this second half. Down by as many as 19. Vandy can get it back to single digits here. Edwards couldn't find McLaughlin. This is Mignon attacking once more. Bounces to Nickel. 6 to shoot. Huffman guarded closely by Sears. Huffman, wild layup. It's a solid defensive sequence. And Diabate was out of bounds, though. Ball back to Vandy.
Reset of the shot clock after Diabate had possession. Look on Jumbotron, and the fans seem to disagree. Baseline out of bounds for Vanderbilt.
I missed it. You're right. They reacted as if Diabate wasn't out of bounds. But it's a 10-point game and a new shot clock. Edwards. Denied by Diabate.
And this is the defensive capabilities of Mo Diabate. Defensively, it's never a mismatch when he's on the defensive end. You have the speedy Jason Edwards trying to put on the gas, but the length of Diabate able to track that one down with the rejection.
7 boards and a block. Does he have a steal here? Boy, he's on a rampage. Youngblood secures it. Youngblood fouled. And so Alabama relentless. How about the effort? Nate Oates is trying to get the crowd going again after Diabate's rampage there. Blocks, deflections, steals. He was on the floor. Is he earning the hard hat today, perhaps?
Well, that's exactly who he is. He does all the dirty work. He was able to get the switch on the defensive end and come up with the stop, getting the steal in the passing lane and tracking that down. But the pursuit of Chris Youngblood to stay after that play comes up with the loose ball and fouled back to the free throw line.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned the rebounds, the block, and the steal. He's also got the 11 points.
The free throws have been unkind to Alabama here in the second half. 3 for 10 shooting. It's been a big difference in the game how Vanderbilt's been able to get back into it.
Yeah, you're not kidding. They have taken now 21 free throws, okay? They've missed 9. So, you know, that's south of 60%. That's no good. A little juice in the building once again. Edwards on the pull-up. Missed it. Sherrill secures the board. A strong one there. He boxes out Carey.
Quality box out.
Yep. Carey, big body. He has not been that much of a factor inside today. Holloway. Throws it in from distance.
That's a big shot for Alabama. Holloway took his time coming off that screen roll action. Waited till the defense retreated. He lined it up and let it fly from deep.
Just as Vandy was tightening things up, 14-point cushion again. Carey had it knocked away by Holloway. The sophomore's got his eyes up. Feeds Sears. One more pass. Youngblood.
Nate Oates is loving it. The group on the court able to go on a big run for Alabama. The tensions start to rise a little bit for the Tide. Nate Oates had to do what he had to do to get his team pumped up. And the response was made. A 7-0 run seems to be back in control with under 14 to go in this one.
Let's just reset things. Alabama has led by double digits for basically the majority of this game. They went down 7-2, Richard, and then they go on that 20-4 extended run. They took a double-digit lead and have yet to relinquish it since the early moments of that first half. McLaughlin's leaner left it short, and then there's a foul as he went tumbling. So that is a foul on Sherrell, his second. 17-point cushion for Alabama, fresh off of its latest top 25 win. They go to Rupp Arena on Saturday in a highly entertaining thriller. Win 102-97. They've got 6 wins against the AP top 25. That's the most in the nation of any team, tied with Auburn for the nation's best there. And so they're 1 win away from tying the program single season record in terms of ranked wins. You know, they're going to have a lot of opportunities, by the way, the rest of the way.
Absolutely.
Hey, speaking of Auburn, by the way, we could possibly have the first ever top 10 battle between those two programs coming up in a few weeks. They have never both been ranked inside the top 10, okay, in any of their historical meetings. Heck, they could be both top 5 programs when they meet.
It's going to be must-see TV. And that's a must-see move by Mo Diabate with the step-through Euro on the baseline out the spin in the post. That's high level. Wow.
Hey, he's approaching a career high. He's got 13, 1 off of his career high. 14 did that in the game last year. Jalen Carey had it knocked away, and it's last touch by Vanderbilt.
I'm going to tell you, look at this move. The footwork, the Euro step through, and the soft touch by Mo Diabate. This is a player who's known for his defensive versatility and energy. But you're starting to see the development of skill, what he's able to do in so many elements of the game.
Youngblood, corner 3, got another. Chris Youngblood.
We talked to head coach Mark Byington and said, what is the one thing he has to avoid in this game? And it's the runs of Alabama. Alabama on a 12-0 run in the last 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
And that's just how quickly it can happen. It was a 10-point game. Vandy had possession. And then after a turnover, the run began. McLaughlin for 3, yes. Vanderbilt needed it in a big way. There's still so much time, less than 12 to play in this game. Vandy needs the stops now on this end.
McLaughlin has hit 2 3-balls just when they need it.
Sherrell way off. And a whistle, that'll take us to a timeout. So that foul on Alabama stops the clock. 19-point cushion. They've extended their halftime lead in Tuscaloosa. Celtics, Clowney, a draft pick in that, on the heels of that 23 title team season. The list and the names kind of go on and on.
Yeah, he's been able to come in and get some guys, even the ones that he inherited from previous teams, with Kyra Lewis in the NBA as well, benefiting from the system in which he plays.
You know, and this, it's a great point there. The system is its space in pacing. You know, how can you do in your minutes that you're allotted? Youngblood can't hit the 3. Stevenson is going back to the free throw line. Jaron Stevenson has been a very productive day today from an offensive standpoint. Free throw here, and he'll be into double figures. He's got 9 and 7.
It's the offensive rebounding once again. And it's the offensive rebounds that Alabama has got that has made the big difference at the time that they get them. Now Vanderbilt's outpacing Alabama, but they've got multiple on one possession. But it's when you continue to get these and get second cracks at it and able to capitalize with buckets, it's been huge.
Stevenson again, he's trying to hit 10. Well, there's look no further than just the field goal percentages. To your point, Alabama's about 53% from the floor. Vanderbilt, meanwhile, 33% shooting. That's it. So they've hit 7. They've taken 7 more shots, but they've hit 7 less shots.
Yeah.
7 fewer.
And Stevenson, as you mentioned, it struggles with his shooting ability, but today in the double figures, he's a guy, if he can use his physicality and size, he can impose himself down low, and the shooting percentages will rise, giving him more confidence.
Holloway, killer crossover. Could not finish it with the leaner that time. Jason Edwards was looking for a streaking MJ Collins. Did not have enough space there. Edwards on the pull-up. So he is into double figures with 11.
That was a beautiful move by Jason Edwards. He called for the pick and roll, utilized it, and used that ball fake to freeze the defense to get freed up.
Yeah, Youngblood gets his man of the year. That's the 4th foul on McLaughlin. Nice veteran move.
Have to look at Edwards. He's always trying to get the mismatch. There he is. He used that ball fake to McLaughlin to get Amori out of the way, and that spacing gets him the clean look. If I'm a small guard, I'm really going to watch Jason Edwards' game. You know, he has the ability to use his foot speed to get where he wants, but it's not only just turning on the jets. It's using the pace, the deceleration, the pivoting and footwork when he gets in the paint. And when he's able to do that, it allows him to finish over much taller players. He's really fun to watch.
Well, you played at the next level in the NBA, won European titles overseas. I mean, that's one thing you hear at the next level. Sometimes it's more about the change of speed and whatnot.
Well, that's all about the game of basketball. You're faster if you know where you're going and the opponent does not. And oftentimes young players only know how to play at one speed. And the ability to play at different speeds, slowing the pace down, speeding up, changing angles, that gives you an advantage to control the game and play at the tone in which you want.
Edwards has got 1 more year of eligibility after this season. About 5'10", and again, very prolific scorer for Vanderbilt. Has averaged 17 a game. So the latest whistle is on Stevenson, his 4th. This deficit remains a sizable one for the Commodores. Look out, here's Jalen Carey. Carey would not be denied that time.
And that's an example of the multiple rebounds on each possession. That's the activity of Carey and the physicality of pushing his man up under the boards and getting the tip in.
Lob it up. Amori. Boy, that one when you were waiting for the lob, and Sears finally got free for a moment. Vandy was just late to get back to him, and Amori makes him pay. Past this halfway mark here in the second. The floater drops through. That's Collins.
Vanderbilt's able to find some things. When they run their action and get the mismatches, they were able to get Amori out on Edwards, taking the shot blocker out of the paint. Collins able to get a crease, get all the way to the paint, the floater over the top.
Holloway to the cutter. Amori lost the handle. Youngblood with the effort to secure it, but only 4 to shoot. So Sears has to improvise. Sears squeezes through, could not hit it. And then there's a loose ball foul on Alabama. Vanderbilt will get it back here with 9:03 to go.
It's the action. Alabama often looks to go to Clifford Amori. Beautiful pinpointed alley-oop, and that's a tough catch. You're right on the same line of the basket, able to locate that ball at the top and turn your body and finish with a slam dunk. Good 2-man game by Sears and Amori.
Alabama has sustained this double-digit lead. LeBaron Philon comes back in, so does Grant Nelson, Mo Diabate. So a little bit of a larger personnel change here for Alabama. You know, they came into this season on the heels of the first ever Final Four run in program history. And Richard, they started the season very fair to say, is the unequivocal favorites to run it back and perhaps win the SEC once more, just like they did a couple of seasons ago. Phylon got it to go at the rim. They knock off all those impressive teams you referenced in the non-conference. Beat Houston, beat Illinois, on the road at North Carolina, Creighton, Rutgers. The lone losses were at Purdue and then against Oregon. That's a now ranked Oregon program out in Vegas. You won a couple of critical road games to start SEC play, and so here they are. They're 4-1. They've got arguably one of the best resumes in America. Those 6 wins against AP top 25 ranked teams, the most of any team in college basketball.
Well, high expectations for this Alabama team coming in to this season, and particularly coming off the Final Four and bolstering this roster by way of the transfer portal. But I will say Nate Oates' best teams have been on teams where they have not been projected to be the top team in the SEC.
Yep.
The 2 years that he was able to win the SEC regular season and the tournament, they were projected 5th in the conference in the preseason poll. It's a long season. You always have to identify who you are as a team, but this team is starting to come in their own. This is a tough Vanderbilt team that they're playing right now.
The only question is, will the fan base be okay with the blue? They like his red jackets, but today he's trying to mix it up with the blue.
Yeah, I don't know how much the people in Coleman Coliseum want to see blue, but I tell you, as long as it's not orange, I think they'll be okay.
That's right. So, yeah, you got the red pocket square. Holloway puts up another, and when pinball's around, rebound to Vanderbilt. It was the SEC title in 23, the title in 21, and then the Final Four last season. Bounce pass to Diabate. Diabate, count it, and the foul. The dexterity now on display from the sophomore. It's a career day for the Queens native.
So nimble, Mo Diabate asking for the ball in transition, able to sidestep a much smaller defender, and the physical strength to get it up on the ring and finish with an and one.
15 points, that's a career high. You know, he is an example of someone, Richard, you know, in this system, he can excel. You know, he's all about today he's scoring, but, you know, his MO, the X factor, or why he is the X factor, is it's the hustle plays, it's the defense, not just on the ball, but, you know, largely speaking defensively. Collins hits that one, and so his development is the latest example of the development you will receive here in this system, which operates like a pro franchise, basically. Edwards wants 3. Collins follows. Back to a 14-point game.
MJ Collins starting to get some things going. Nice poise that he showed on the previous possession with the mid-range J, and then the offensive rebound. Another 3. Aiden Holloway, the one guy you cannot allow to get the clean look. If you're Vanderbilt, Holloway continues the hot shooting.
It's his 3rd 20-point game this season. He's got 22. Turnover. Phylon has it. Holloway between the legs. Phylon gets free. Phylon sets the feet. Phylon can't hit it. Out of bounds. It's getting close to a career day for the sharpshooter from Charlotte.
Well, he's got the sweet stroke, and Aiden Holloway once again lining it up and tinkling the twine. In transition, great footwork finishing around the basket, post-ups and touch around the cup. It's been phenomenal to watch, and those 2 off the bench are a big reason for this point differential here in the second half.
The staff has always referred to Diabate as someone who plays with extreme effort and intensity, great toughness. And, you know, there was a comparison I remember they made last year. You know, he could be he's kind of a Draymond Green sort of a guy. He's going to do all the dirty work. He's going to do the tough things underneath. Count that 3, by the way. We've got a Opportunity for Tyler Nickel. 4-point play.
That was a phenomenal play there by Tyler Nickel. A blown coverage by Alabama late, recognizing where the shooter is. If there's one thing in the second half, you got to know where Tyler Nickel is coming down in transition. Great designed action to get him freed up and absolutely stroked that one with the arm.
He had 2 points at half. He now has a 12-point second half, including 4 threes. Could not complete the 4-point play. Richard, it's a 16-point cushion. Vanderbilt has tried and tried and tried again to try to get it underneath that 10-point mark. It has failed to do so.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the Commodores have one more push in them. They've been able to get some runs going, and this is the point they got to try to make it happen right here.
That's a foul underneath. It's on Amori. And so the Commodores do get the stop here. And they are in the double bonus. So 2 free throws on this side of the floor. Vandy 10 out of 14 as a team at the stripe. They've been a very good free throw shooting team overall this season. And you've got Chris Magnon, who's about 80% at the line there right now.
And these are 2 important free throws. Vanderbilt has shown some press in the second half to try to get things back in their favor. It'd be interesting to see with 6 minutes and 14 seconds what they will elect to do after the made free throws on the defensive end.
It feels like right now is the time. So that's a quick 5-0 burst for Vanderbilt. The Nickel 3. And then the Magnon free throws. And they will set it up.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to show a little bit extended pressure. An outstanding on-ball defender, Tyler Tanner, on Mark Sears.
14-point game. Coming up on the 6-minute mark, second half. There's the lob. Grant Nelson cleared for takeoff.
That's great recognition in that 2-man game. Nelson doesn't set that pick and roll. He realizes the defender is on the same level as him, and he rolls out of there, goes right to the front of the rim in a pinpointed pass.
Yeah, just brilliant stuff for Sears. Now that's 6 assists. Tanner in the paint goes up with the right. That one falls through.
Strong move by the freshman, taking him a much more mature Mark Sears. Beautiful spin move and balance to finish over the top.
Yeah, the rookie from right outside of Nashville. He has earned his place on the floor in the final minutes of games. That's how much this staff trusts the freshman. Sears to the paint. That's good. Mark Sears with a clever move to get to the pin.
Terrific control. You know, Sears understands he's a strong left-hand driver. He sets you up going to the right, and he's able to get back to the strong hand.
And gets screened here. Tanner inside, cut off by Sherrill. Tanner's open, puts it up, and that 3 is good.
And you get a peek of the freshman's confidence. Tyler Tanner penetrating, taking what the defense gives him, comes back out and knocks down a 3-ball.
And so Tanner's first points of the afternoon, evening, I should say, are at a pretty critical time. Look at this one.
Look at this. As Grant Nelson gets out of there on the ball screen action, and it goes right up over the top, and then the crafty footwork by Mark Sears getting to his strong hand with the impressive 2-point finish.
Yeah, 6 assists now for Sears. It's been so difficult for Vanderbilt to get it underneath that 10-point mark. And so Sears today, he's got the 14, and as you duly noted not long ago, big-time performances in the big ones.
Well, when you're going to be a prolific scorer, you have to have a recipe to how you get your buckets. And Mark Sears is going to get them with the 3 balls. He's a physical driver, and he can get to the basket. And when the foul count is against you, he knows how to get to the free throw line, and that's where he really punishes you.
Sears keeps a left-hand dribble, flings it to the corner. Nelson going to work. Is that an offensive foul? There's a whistle, though I did not see the offensive foul signal. And so immediately, though, Terry Oglesby says we are going to go to the monitor to see if we need to upgrade this to anything.
Yeah, this can potentially be upgraded as Grant Nelson with the clear out.
We'll take a look at that one when we return. 15-point lead for Alabama. They're trying to close it out. Final 4:22.
On Alabama, that play's under review.
He actually had the angle that he needed to just go ahead and finish. But the last little chicken wing that he throws, he catches Nickel right in the chops.
So this could be a significant turn, perhaps, if you're Vanderbilt. Commodores must hit their free throws. Tyler Nickel is essentially their most reliable free throw shooter, 87% at the line. So he hits the 2 freebies, and the Commodores have possession back. 12-point game. Or take it back. That's a 13-point cushion. It remains for the Tide. Richard, they have not, Vanderbilt, gotten it to single digits since late in the first half. They've been down double digits since then. That one was blocked. And then an offensive foul on Edwards. Mo Diabate again.
That was a phenomenal play. Excellent designed action to try to free up Edwards. But look at this closing speed and recovery there by Diabate, and the kick out on the feet by Edwards called for the offensive foul.
9 blocks for Alabama now today. That ties its season high. And Diabate's got 2 of them. Amori has 4. That's another foul on Mignon. That is his 4th. Alabama's at the line the rest of the way.
It's a tough guard there for Mignon, as Diabate with so much power coming downhill, also with the ability to shift his weight from side to side. He puts you in a compromising position to make a business decision when he's coming downhill. To put your body in front of it or take the foul.
It's a oftentimes painful one with Diabate. So, by the way, Edwards, that was Edwards who was whistled for his 4th. He has 4. Look at 17 now for Mohamed Diabate. This is a new career high. The X factor off the bench for Alabama has been exquisite. Not just the scoring, where he is a perfect 6 of 6 from the field. He's hit 6 free throws. He's approaching a double-double with the 8 boards, 2 blocks, a steal.
It's an all-around game.
Yep.
And they've been the big plays in the moments to keep Vanderbilt at bay. But that's a situation right there that, man, you cannot allow to get open, as Tyler Nickel once again getting freed up and knocking it down. 12-point game. Good action by Vanderbilt.
5 threes for Nickel today. Diabate answers. Alabama, simply put, has had the answer. It has had the response. Edwards has the feet set and drains the 3. Timeout with 3:30 to go. So it's an 11-point game. It hasn't been this close in a long time.
Still a lot of time left going this ball game, as Vanderbilt is starting to find something with their dribble penetration, pivoting and pitching it back out. And there you see, as Edwards able to shape up wide open, no one even in the picture, with the assist coming from Tanner. Beautiful designed action and recognition, knocking it down.
So Vanderbilt, 9 out of 15 from beyond the arc in this second half. That's 60%. They really struggled in the first half. It's been Edwards. Nickel has 5 of them, by the way. 5 out of 8 from downtown. It's a 19-point game for Tyler Nickel. 17 of those after the break.
Well, they got it sparked with a blown coverage that allowed Nickel to get freed up. He struggled shooting in the first half, but when good shooters see one go through, it changes the confidence that they have. He's able to get himself freed up and knock one down, which allowed him to start hitting contested threes and then going to the free throw line. There's still a lot of time in this game. Vanderbilt's decided to pick up the defensive intensity, putting some full court pressure on Alabama. The foul situation is going to come into play for both teams, depending on who's aggressive going to the basket and can you knock down free throws in the clutch.
Yeah, both teams in the double bonus. Youngblood, Diabate, Nelson, Holloway, and Sears, the 5 out there for the Tide. So you've got Vandy's best defender on Sears. trying to keep the All-American in front of him. Diabate sets the screen and rolls. Diabate backs in. Diabate could not get it to go. Magnon falls to 2-on-1. Tanner's got his head up. Tanner picks up the dribble. Dangerous pass there. And they bounce it down. McLaughlin, look who's open. This is Hogard. 4-3. And so Vanderbilt has got it back to single digits for the first time since the 4:30 mark in the first half. Boy, they have not folded it up when there have been a lot of chances for them to do so. They're back within 8.
That was a poised possession that they had. Tanner coming up with that ball and probing, taking his time, but moving the ball around, finding Hogard in the corner, and he knocks it down. But Mark Sears, as I mentioned, the foul is going to be a moment that they can take advantage of, both teams, putting his head down on the corner and driving and getting the foul and back to the free throw line.
A very poised sequence indeed. And so it took Vandy try after try after try to get back to this point. Sears 83% at the line. Good form from Mom as well.
As he gets his shooting touch from his mother, Lamika.
Yeah. Look at the three-point barrage from Vandy. McLaughlin nearly made it 11. That one went halfway down and out.
Down and out. And a great design play. I've been so impressed in the money time with how Vanderbilt has been able to dial up clean looks and knock them down.
Sears trying to get the whistle. Sears draws the foul on Magnon. That should be the 5th on Magnon.
And this is the veteran taking over the game. Great strategy. You know you have the foul count. Put your head down, able to get into paint, and there's a little reach in. Not too much contact, as it seemed as if Mark Sears might have even lost his footing and his balance. But nonetheless, Chris Magnon disagrees with that foul call as he has to take a seat. Mark Sears back to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, I mean, that is a soft one on Magnon there. Now, nevertheless, it is going to be his 5th foul, and so the senior out of New Milford, New Jersey, has fouled out. About 13, or pardon me, a couple of rebounds, 3 assists, 4 points for Magnon, a little bit of everything. And Sears getting closer to what would be a 12th 20-point game. Now has 18.
And that's a big foul because you lose a high-quality defender in Magnon, and also it continues to soften up the defense as the foul count surmounts, and your top free throw shooter going to the line, adding to the lead.
This is the challenge of playing this Alabama team, especially at home. 95 and counting. Nickel, one of his finer shooting days of his career, yet he was way offline with that one. 2 to play.
Vanderbilt is penetrating with the intent to pick out to their outside as Grant Nelson is able to clean up a miss from Sears. They're getting their three-pointers because they're penetrating, pivoting, and kicking it out to the outside. The drive to the basket is fool's goal.
Tipped around, Alabama has it. 1:40 to play. And a 14-point advantage. Holloway wants to use some clock. And they are in a comfortable position right now with 90 seconds left. Sears to the rack. Yes! It's a 20-point game for Sears.
Mark Sears turning the corner once again. This is a game of back and forth action. Alabama able to open up the lead to 16 points. But this is a game just moments ago getting pretty tight.
8-0 run. Immediately after Vanderbilt cut it back to single digits. It is an 8-0 run. Very similar to the late second half run on Saturday against Kentucky. Remember that game was knotted up at 81 apiece. And then Bama goes on the 9-0 burst. Chris Youngblood hit a couple of threes. So they go on another one of these late runs to basically secure it.
Another rebound there by Mo Diabate for the double-double.
And he wants one more basket. Mo Diabate with a 22-point game, 10 boards, a career performance for the sophomore from Queens. He was relentless, and Alabama has gone over 100 for the 6th time this season.
Man, that move right there by Jason.
So Edwards going to get one more. Rather, timeout, pardon me, timeout called by Vanderbilt with 35.3.
Yep.
So Alabama 35.3 away from improving to 5-1 in league play, staying at the top of the SEC. They've got LSU coming up here on Saturday. Then you got to go to Starkville next week. You got to go to Arkansas and Texas coming up as well. Georgia at home on the 1st.
In a most respectful way, I mean, obviously there's not an easy path in the SEC, always tough games, but this is a slate that Alabama might deem as favorable coming up in the conference game. Now, they're going to be tough matchups when you look at Mississippi State on the road and what Chris Jans has been able to do. They've had a tough one on the road tonight in Rocky Top, but high-quality teams. But Alabama's going to have to continue to bring their A game because it doesn't get any easier.
Not in this league. Another 100-point showing for Alabama. 56% from the floor. Now, it only hit 8 triples, but they got to the free throw line relentlessly, Richard. Took 34 free throws. That's 16 more than Vanderbilt. And they normally have that free throw advantage.
And particularly the free throws that Mark Sears has been able to add to his point total here in the clutch. The game was getting tight. He understood the moment. You put your head down, get a shoulder, draw the foul, get to the free throw line, and try to ice the game.
Oh, home run pass here. Touchdown, Grant Nelson. One more highlight.
Excellent play and an excellent throw on the money by Chris Youngblood.
Yeah, it was a little Will Howard-esque. Now, I think Alabama had sunk Vandy a little sooner, but still an accurate pass there. So the Tide will improve to 5-1 in league play. They will stay at the top of this rugged SEC. And so the SEC title favorites coming into the season remain at the top. Their 6th 100-point performance of the year. Sears, Holloway, and Diabate all with 20-point games on a great night for the Tide.
In a game of runs, Alabama made the run when they needed it most, and big performances from their big-time players down the clutch.
And the resume continues to be bolstered. Hope you enjoyed it, folks. We did. For Richard Hendricks and the entire great crew, I'm Kevin Fitzgerald saying goodnight from Tuscaloosa. Coming up, Missouri and Texas. Let's go to Austin.